It's not far-fetched. This is something that you can do, especially if you have no choice but to return to Jamaica, or if you're just planning and you would like to have something, but you don't have a lot of money, but you have the land. If you're going to do all these things, it's not impossible, because a lot of people have done it. They just don't like to share what they done. A lot of people gatekeep of how to come around building, and they pretend as if they're using contractors. They wants to be in town. This is not for people that's trying to be up in the hills, up in Stony Hill or Jack Sales and Smokyville. Do not come here, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reasonable people that's trying to go home, would like to go home, and actually own something when they get there instead of renting. All right, guys, so welcome back. Today I'm inside because I'm not 100. I'm not feeling myself. So I'm inside. I'll go out later, but not now. But I'm here to talk to you guys about people have a good $5 million sitting down in Jamaica that can actually build something, but they really don't know that there is a way out, instead of you spending that money and just paying rent, and not owning anything in Jamaica, especially if you're permanently living in Jamaica, or if you're planning to return to Jamaica and you have a nice little change, you can build. I would say, to be frank, if you're looking for just a 1-bedroom, bath, a kitchen with a living or open concept, which a lot of people, that's actually cheaper. If you have an open concept, it makes it cheaper most of the time. A lot of people won't share this with you, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways, because I think it's only right. I feel like I still got cobweb on my face. I have to wash my face in a few. But anyways, I'm going to share something with you with which a lot of people probably won't. But as a Jamaican woman, I can tell them, say, don't be intimidated by the house prices of Jamaica. And there's a bunch of reasons why I'm going to tell them that. Because if me make the prices of material, house, and things like that intimidate me, I wouldn't have anything. Or willing to work, buy anything. I'm going to tell you a simple step you can take. It's not for everybody, but some people can take this as an advice or whatever. And I know I'm going to have a lot of naysayers and a lot of positive people. I'm going to have a mixed bag of people on here, but that's okay, because everybody have the right to their opinion, and we can all agree to disagree, right? So that said, what I'm trying to say is this. If you do say roughly have maybe around 15,000 US dollars, right? And that's equivalent of over 2 point something million, like say maybe 2 million and 2.1 million. I think that's what that comes out to. And you say you already have a land, right? But why I'm saying you can build a house, or you could actually build a whole entire room with a bathroom and a kitchen separate, I believe you can with that money. And it's still a house, because the moment you start, you could keep on continuing to go. You could still find a lot size, and this is for people that's willing to go into the rural areas. This is not for people that wants to be in town. This is not for people that's trying to be up in the hills, up in Stony Hill or Jack Sales and Smokyville. Do not come here, because that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reasonable people that's trying to go home, would like to go home, and actually own something when they get there instead of renting. Now, if that's for you, this video is for you. And I'm going to tell you basic steps you can take. The basic steps you could take, simple. If you know you cannot afford a house, first thing you want to do is try to buy a piece of land. Land does cost money, but you can also, if this is if you have NHG already, you could use it to buy the land or help you purchase a property, right? But some people don't. But this is for people, what I'm talking about, living in America, living in Canada, living anywhere else. This is for people that's outside, that's trying to go home, would like to go home and have something. And I'm telling you this from experience. Now, what I'm trying to explain is this. You have 15,000 US dollars can get you something in Jamaica. And being reasonable and fair, if you buy a piece of lot in the rural areas and not buying it through a real estate, going direct to a lawyer, and you can find a lot size, you're not going to get a 1/4 acre. It's just maybe going to be a house spot. just a house spot, you can still find it for a million Jamaican dollars. And yes, you can. Yes, you're going to have fees, you're going to have other things, but yes, that will roughly be a portion of that money. That's if you go that route and you have to get the land. Okay. So you're probably just going to down will be say pretty much going to only could get you a room. Maybe cannot even put a kitchen on, but you can get a full room and add as you go along. Yes, you can. Now, for someone that already have the land and have 15,000 US dollars, you're in good tip top shape. And I'm going to tell you how. Because for one, 1,000 blocks actually only cost you 125 to 30,000 Jamaican dollars, right? And $15,000 is actually 2.1 million, and maybe a little bit or less, give or take, dollars, Jamaican dollars. That, just considering you're not going to go with a big time contractor. And like I said, this is not for people that's going to come on here with their bougie self saying, oh, you can't this. Yes, you can. Please listen to me. Now, this is if you already have the land. If you already have the land and you buy your materials, you buy your sand, you have someone that knows how to build, not a contractor. If you go to a contractor, that money is not going to go anywhere. You have to find someone that knows how to build. A tradesman. A tradesman is someone that's not fully certified, but he knows his job. And to be fair and honest, there's a lot of those in Jamaica, a lot. And there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of crooked ones. You know, you're going to find your mixed bag. But like I said, this is something you're going to have to do your homework. You're going to have to do your research. You're going to have to probably, and the research meaning you're going to use people that's done this, what I'm talking about before, that could recommend people to you to help you along the way. Now, first thing you want to do is make an agreement with this person. Say, hey, you're not going to try to go up there and talk about, oh, I have this big plan and this is what. That's not the kind of building I'm talking about. Simple again, I'm making it clear. As simple as building a room or two, because most of the time you can get two room, a little living area, kitchen, whatever, and you could get a bedroom out of it, and you can actually have a bathroom. And yes, you can get it out of 15,000 US dollars. And I'm telling you this, which a lot of people don't know. You might not could buy all the fixtures. I'm talking about just the functional property itself, and maybe put your toilet and your sink in. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're just starting, now you have that money. Do not waste your money. Do not sit up there and play with your money. Now is the time to buy, because material is down a little bit. So I believe that you could buy the material at a reasonable price. You could get those material at a reasonable price. Only buy what you need as you go along. Will you get burned? Maybe a little bit. Yes, here and there in material. You have to do your shop around. You have to go to all the different hardwares and make sure that you're buying the cheapest one that you can afford. And not only that, make sure you only need one or two tradesmen on the job, especially if you're only putting up two rooms. This, I'm not talking about a big structure where I have 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, none of that. I'm talking about as simple as just getting a structure up where you're comfortable and you're not paying $150,000 or $200,000 a month for rent. If you go in Mandeville, even now it's still cheaper. You're going to pay at least $80,000 for maybe a 1 bedroom, depends on where you at, because the rent is rising. Now, people cannot afford to buy really, but some people have a little bit of money to build. Some people have a good $5 million sitting down in Jamaica that can actually build something, but they really don't know that there is a way out instead of you spending that money and just paying rent, and not owning anything in Jamaica, especially if you're permanently living in Jamaica, or if you're planning to return to Jamaica and you have a nice little change, you can build. I would say, to be frank, if you're looking for just a 1 bedroom, bath, a kitchen with a living, an open concept, which a lot of people, that's actually cheaper. If you have an open concept, it makes it cheaper most of the time. People don't know this. And as you go along, you can use a partition and separate your bedroom. This is a temporary fix for those who own the land. This is what I'm talking about. You could do. You buy your sand, you buy your well, sand is last, but you buy your mix, which is small mixed with dirt, sand, whatever. You buy that. You buy your block. You buy your steel. Steel is down. Steel is actually low. Steel was like almost $200,000 last year, the end of the last year. So right now you're looking at a nice little chunk of hundred and something $1,000 for a ton of steel. And if you buy a ton of steel, that could take you a long way. You're gonna need binding wires, all of that stuff. They're cheaper now. I don't know why, but they're cheaper now until once this tariffs hit, a lot of the stuff is gonna go back up. And I'm gonna start buying some about to start buying some material myself. Um More material, more like it. You're looking at the most after you buy your materials, your next largest expenses is gonna be actually the people you're paying to do the work on your house. Now, if you have the time, I will suggest you take your time to be there. Take even a full 2 weeks because, believe it or not, a room or two going up doesn't take 2 weeks. This is something you could have done within no time. If I was you, now it's no big deal. Deck your house. Do not, do not try to put a roof on. One of the largest expenses you can have is putting on a shingle roof. Is actually to put a decking on, which is more durable and long lasting than a shingle roof. And not only that, you have hurricane resistant, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend. That's a plus. So if you're sitting up there and you're saying, okay, I do want a pretty nice roof, I get that. But for your first, mean as though, even though you might want that roof, if you try to put that roof on, you will never get it on with just that kind of money. You're going to need at least another $3 million just for the roof. Believe me, roofing is expensive, especially because you got to buy wood, you got to buy the shingles, you got to buy the cuff, those things that goes on them. I forgot the name of those. You got to also put a bunch of other stuff with it. But anyway, put that aside. If you follow my instructions, you could get your room up with a bathroom and a kitchen. And you could actually maybe get a bedroom with a kitchen, open concept kitchen or whatever, living, and a bathroom. This is not for someone that's trying to get a big 3 bedroom. I'm talking about someone that's looking to find something, or more like have something in Jamaica. You already have the land. This is what you can do. Now, after you get your guys that you're going to have working, let them know, listen, I have a budget. And you go into them and say, listen, how much is it going to cost me to put that size room up? Do not try to be, if it's something that's urgent, you just make a deal with them. How much is it going to cost me just to put up that room? Don't go in with a kitchen yet. Do not go into the bathroom yet. Try to make that room as big as possible. After you get that room as big as possible, you watch them. They give you a charge. Say, most of the time, that room shouldn't cost you for someone to work on it a couple of days, actually. And if you're paying them, that shouldn't run you a good 200,000-300,000. Why I say that is for simple fact that a lot of people, when you go by the day, it actually costs you more than you was to do it as jobs. So you go for each room or each bathroom. Say you want to add a bathroom, then you go again and you add and you pay. Now, I can't tell you what to pay people, but I know you can negotiate. Everything is negotiable, especially now where a lot of people, some people have work, some people don't have work, and you do have some good tradesmen. If you say you want to go ahead and add the bathroom, then you add the bathroom. You add an extra room, you can. Depends on how much money you have left over. Now, this is just for the foundation, the putting up of the building I'm talking about, and maybe adding, not maybe, you need to have a bathroom separate, because the thing about kitchen and all that, you could actually have them in the same settings, and you could take plywood or something and separate the room temporarily. This is for someone that's single, or even a single mom with 2 kids. This is something that you can really, it's not far-fetched. This is something that you can do, especially if you have no choice but to return to Jamaica, or if you're just planning and you would like to have something, but you don't have a lot of money, but you have the land. And this could give you a good start where you have a shelter over your head. And if you do it right. The next thing after you get your men, choose the men that you want to work for you. You go in as deals. I can't tell you exactly how to pay them, but I know it. I know 15,000 US dollars can get you a room, bathroom, and a small kitchenette. You get what I'm saying? And most of the time you won't have to separate it, because most of the time you could just add the kitchen right into the living area and just add a room as you go. Um, When it comes down to the materials, which is going to be your first biggest expense, your second biggest expense is going to be your workmen. um if you try to get yourself an architect to go ahead and give you a plan, you're going to have problems. Get someone that have knowledge of building, that you could say build someone else's houses, and you see it, and people will say, okay, him help build my house and work on my house. Because some people might feel like say every house built in Jamaica, as fancy as they are, or they use architect. No, they don't. You would assume they did, but they didn't. They're the architect. They're the one that's telling the workmen what to do and what to do on their house to get it the way they have it. um a lot of people come on here and I understand that's, oh, they think because they're educated or they have their degrees or they have their this, they have their that, they can come on here and say, oh, you need to have this, you need to have that. No, you don't. In Jamaica, you do not have to have a contractor to work on your house. You just need someone with the common knowledge and good at what they do to start your house and build it for you. um the next thing you need to make sure that you're hiring. And if you're going to do jobs, you're not responsible for the laborers. Usually the tradesmen are responsible for the laborers, not you. The next thing you can also do for you to save yourself a lot of trouble, you definitely be the one to buy your materials. All you need for them to do is to tell you the list of things you need. And some of this stuff is common sense, because if you're going to know you're going to build a house and you want, just start buying 1,000 block, buy a ton of steel. You go ahead and you buy your mall, your mix, whatever you need to start you off. Um, Cement is going to be a big expense as well, because once you start building, cement is going to keep on buying. But those things that's actually not so bad. I'm gonna tell you why cement is not bad to buy, because what you can do is, if you even say you start and you have that money just for that portion, you could take another week or two, probably work it up, as you go along and buy your cement. If you're getting paid or if you have some money, you could get your hands on. So some things is not so really you have, because you don't want to have a bunch of cement just sitting there. You want to have enough. So you maybe have a good 50 to 100 bag of cement sitting there for your building. And you probably won't even need, for that size room and bathroom, you probably won't need even 50 bags of cement. So don't get too discouraged when I say cement, because cement is $1,850 per bag. Depends on where you buy it. So I would tell someone, if you're going to do all these things, it's not impossible, because a lot of people have done it. They just don't like to share what they done. A lot of people gatekeep of how to come around building, and they pretend as if they're using contractors. They pretend as if, they're using architect to, because if you go to an architect and say, oh, well, like my house, you're going to pay a good hundred and something $1,000 just for a plan. A lot of people don't use a plan because it's expensive in Jamaica. Some of them try to tell you, because once you go to this architect they're going to tell you, oh, you need to go to this, you need to go to that, you need to get this approved. Some things you don't need to get approved in the rural area, but if you are in Kingston, you will need to get a lot of things approved. Now, when it comes down to electrical, yes, eventually I would suggest you get someone that's certified electrician. That's going to be your biggest thing. You need to make sure that electrician is not someone that just say he's an electrician. You need to get a certified electrician, because remember, you want to make sure that your house is not going to burn down. Okay, so that's the number one thing. You have to, your plumbing, you could tinker around with plumbers is not as bad, but you want to get you a good plumber. But you doing your electrician, you want to be sure that your electrician is certified. Now those are the things. Plumbing, yes, but not so much. But your electrician, definitely a yes. um don't worry about buying the fixtures too much, because those things, if you start spending out of the money for those things, you won't be able to afford to put your building up, your bathroom, your room, and maybe a living area if you could get it, which you probably can in a little veranda area. I would suggest in the beginning, the moment you start building, put a veranda on, because you need something to make your house feel like a home, and a veranda always do it for you. You could always wash your clothes outside. You could always do a lot of things outside. But when it comes down to a veranda, that little extra space to say, this is, you're coming in the morning or getting up, you can sit outside. So you put a little small veranda or whatever you can, because sometimes you don't even have to waste a lot of material on the design of the veranda. You could put a simple aesthetic outside of your veranda. Um, Flooring. Try to avoid trying to get fancy towels right away. I wouldn't suggest you go buying fancy towels, because if you try to buy towels, towels alone could eat away all that money we just talked about. Because now you're talking about being, the aesthetic of things, decorating, all of that. You're starting to get really, really into the. So, but I'm talking about the basic, getting it up from the ground up. $15,000 actually could do it for you if you own your land. And even if you're buying a piece of land for $1 million, you can still take the next half and use it and put a room up, just a single room. You might not be able to put all the other stuff up, like a bathroom and a kitchen and all of that, but you can still put a room up. And I'm telling you, because I know it can happen, and it's not impossible. It's not impossible. As a matter of fact, I have it wrong. I just realized what I said. 15,000 US dollars is actually 2.2 mil. I have it wrong. 2.2 mil or so. So pretty much you can actually get you a room with a bathroom and a small kitchen area, or kitchen and living. Just have it as an open concept. Like I said, get yourself tradesmen, get yourself, and job the work out. Do not try to do the day work, because you do the day work, it costs you more, and they tend to pretty much drag it out. And that's just the way it is, and that's the truth. They will drag it out. You will sit there forever trying to pay it off and get it done. But if you give it to them as job, you will get your room up, your bathroom up, and all of that, and you still probably be able to afford a toilet and a sink. You still probably will be able to afford it. Getting the toilet in, get you a nice regular plumber. But like electricity, get you a certified electrician, that knowing that they know what they're doing. You don't want to use just any jacked up electrician. You get you a certified electrician for that purpose. And to be honest, a lot of people feel like you need to have a whole lot of money just to build, but that's the way the system is set up, to intimidate people, for them to believe that they need to have a whole lot of money. A lot of people gatekeep those little things because they want to feel superior to people, so they try to pretend as if it's a whole lot of money to do everything. Yes, everything take money, but sometimes it's not as much as you might feel, because you hear, oh, I want to build a house, I want to have this, I want to have that, but I need to. No, you don't. Just start. The most important thing is start, because once you start and you want that place, you will finish it, and you will find somehow, some way to finish it. So anyway, that's all I'm trying to say. And think about it. A lot of people will not believe that you can, the way I'm saying it, but you really can. If you like my video, consider subscribing, sharing, and liking the video. Thank you so much. God bless.